check-in. Today is Wednesday, April 16th, 2025. I'm Sweets, this is Sid, and we'll both be going through our daily check-in on what we've been building and what we're going to be focused on building. Today, I've been focused on creating an MCP tool that was specifically requested by 1RPM, Steph Guerrero, and her team. They want to be able to ask questions to the Recoup chat like, what is a specific comment Alejo should be responding to maximize and re-engage fans on existing content that they're already posting. And so I built out the docs, I built out the API, and now I'm adding those tools into the MCP server. The docs can be found over here at Recoup Docs. You go to the comments tab, and then you can see the API endpoint. This is already live, api.recoupable.com/API/comments. We have working code examples for curl, Python, JavaScript, TypeScript. And I've just updated the response format to be consistent. And so if you use Postman, you can just test it and api.recoupable.com/API/comments. This artist is T Grizzly, and I'm grabbing his second page. And so if you hit for any artist, you'll get back the comments in a paginated format. And yeah, so here's a set of his comments. We got a blue heart emoji. That water looks good, Dab. I haven't checked out page 3, so let me see what's on page 3. And so here's an example, a whole bunch of emojis, fire emoji, yes sir, keep God first, black heart, pray, fire emojis, crystal ball emojis, working on plans to my Caribbean estate in Antigua and Barbuda. You got to visit when I'm done. Sabra, why the F have you been posting? You, my mans, pop out twin, caption fire, inshallah. So we can see T Grizzly's comments for this, and you can swap it out for anybody. So if you want to get access to all your comments that we've been scraping on Recoup, you can use this API endpoint now. Where I have been getting stuck, my blocker, is when I've been trying to test it. I get that we are using the get artist comments function, but then just like the other new tools I've been trying to build, we get an error. It seems to be a technical issue. And then it looks like it automatically knew to contact the team. And so it went in and used that team tool that I added in a couple days ago. And then it's asking if we want to do anything else. And so the downside of the current building on it, this is my limits of knowing MCP, is that inside of our server, I've been watching the logs, and the logs just aren't helpful. I tried building locally today and using the local version of the MCP server, and that I wasn't even able to get it to run. And the deployments being 13 seconds means that it's fast enough for me to run it in a deployed environment. But the logs that it gives me in the deployed environment aren't helpful. All that it says is that we're subscribed and that we're getting data, but it doesn't say what the errors are or why it's not returning. So what I just finished doing is, before I had the output in a weird state, and so I just walked back the first 2 steps I did of docs and API endpoint. I've made the outputs more consistent. Before, this was nested inside of data, and inside of data you had comments and pagination, and the pagination info was different for comments than it was for fans and posts. I've now updated it. Everything's nested. You just got status, fans, pagination, post status, fan, post pagination. And so now comments is status, comments, pagination, and the pagination object is the same. Total count, page, limit, total pages. Pagination info is total count, page, limit, and total pages. And so now I'm back on the MCP server, and I'm slowing down on getting it to implement. I'm having it really study how I got those other MCP tools to work. And I just need to figure out how to build the MCP tool so that it is not replying with, hey, it's failing, and get it to actually move forward. That is where I'm at. I still think this is the best path forward, but after this gets finished, something that's slowing me down locally and a constant error that other people are hitting is Anthropic has a rate limit. Even though we're paying for the service, they have a rate limit, and it seems like a constant problem for anybody building on top of Anthropic. I have noticed that Vercel has moved away from having Claude and Anthropic as their default LLM. They've moved to using Grok. And so I'm starting to think Grok is what we potentially want as our just go-to, or maybe for now, use it as a fallback. Maybe moving forward, just use Grok. But part of me just wants to switch the entire stack from using Recoup to Grok. When I say that, I immediately say, no, don't recreate the wheel, because we don't know what unintended consequences are going to happen. So maybe we should build Grok as a fallback. When this function gets triggered, don't just exit out, fire with Grok again. But I'm thinking order of priorities. One, I still want to get this MCP tool finished, so that way we can tell 1RPM, hey, less than 7 days ago, you asked us for this feature and we built it. And then once I get this tool out and Sid can use that in his sales communication with the 1RPM team, then I'll start going into iterating on feedback and clean up the errors. With that, Sid, what have you been working on? Where's your attention at? What are you focused on?
Awesome job. I've been following the stream the whole time too. So it's great to see how you're thinking through the tools and running into errors. And I feel like it's nice to see you running into errors, even not as a Vibe coder. So it makes me feel better. Even though it sucks for you, I'm sorry. From the other side, I'm like, okay, cool. I also, I'm not the only one that has to be like, no, don't do that. You're doing too much. Like, so yeah, but yeah, super helpful. And I want to watch it again and a couple more times, because I feel like you're on the right path with thinking through, like, let's just get this feature out the door. But I think like there's also like probably a huge benefit of thinking through like the MPC or the MCP shipping infrastructure, so that you don't have to spend all of this time jumping from repo to repo and then explaining documents, all this. Like, if there was just like a, hey, build me this MCP, I want to do X, and then it did that. But I don't know. MCP for MCPs, is that was the thing you sent me? Anyways, my focus this morning has still been on customer success. I sent you the update this morning, and I want to start doing that daily, of just tracking messages sent, percentage of success, failures, where things win. And I've just been kind of spending a lot of time just thinking through that. Also updating our current customer pipeline and tweaking some of the founder dashboard cards to make that a little bit easier to read. I'm refactoring it to make it focused on per person rather than per company, so that there's a little bit more tangible, like, realness of, we're not just tracking 1RPM, we're tracking everybody who's using the product within 1RPM, and understanding just more granularity on what their needs are. But yeah, I'm just really excited for tomorrow to spend, or wait, no, oh my God, it's only Wednesday. I keep thinking it's going to be Friday tomorrow. I thought we've gotten so much work done this week. I'm excited to, at the end of this week, go through the chats and identify what's working, what's not, because there's a lot of insights. But the biggest insight that I think I found kind of going through things is, right now, from yesterday's users, I think we had like 8 people chatting. And of the 8 people, one of them sent the message saying, my mind is blown. So that whatever their pathway of getting to an aha moment within the first conversation, enough to like email us and say, my mind is blown. How do, I think 1 out of 8 people means that we're at like a 12.5% success rate of like mind blown in first chat. And we want to get that to a 99%. How do we get mind blown first chat 99% of the time? And then obviously if there's, or I guess mind blown in next chat, I'll say, whether it's the first chat or it's the next chat they're going to do. And then just doing whatever we can to increase that metric of success, because I think that's going to be the one that drives the most word of mouth drives the most organic shareability is if they get that magic moment in that first chat, everything else kind of falls into place. Or at least I'm assuming everything's going to else fall into place. So that's kind of what I'm focusing on. So what I'm doing is kind of manually going through each chat and identifying like why I think they failed. You know, did they have did they onboard correctly? Did they have a knowledge base in their account? Did I have a conversation with them before they used the chat, or are they net new, just experienced it on their own? All of these variables of trying to figure out where the chat could have gone wrong, what made Caroline so successful, and then yeah, just kind of diving into that to really try to. I think my biggest kind of focus is making sure everybody that is using the product has the best chances of getting to that magic moment without any infrastructure builds. Like, how can I help without any infrastructure? And then getting very prepared for Friday when it comes to, okay, what do we want to build next week? And identifying here are the things that is stopping everybody from achieving that goal of aha moment on first chat, and what tools people are asking for, because there's some really interesting ones that they're asking for. There's people are asking for specific things, which is great, and then it's just assigning, okay, cool, that can be a tool. We already can do that, but we just need to prompt better, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, just focused on customer success and shit like that. But I'm really excited. I think there's a lot of momentum, especially from yesterday. And I'm excited to keep it moving. I have a couple questions. One was based on you building the tool. Actually, they all tie together, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Because my first question is, are you thinking through tools as all being MCP?
Yep.
Or are there any need for a tool, or is there any time when a tool doesn't need to be an MCP?
I think they should all be in an MCP server.
Okay, great. So if that's the case, then is MCP if we change models from Anthropic, are there any models that don't support MCP?
They should. They should
it's open
all
source.
be. That's the goal is for it to be a standard. Not sure who does and does not. That's a great question. I know DeepSeek does, and I know Anthropic does, and I'm assuming Grok does as well because Vercel has moved to it. I don't know if OpenAI does, or if they're still in their own ivory tower, playing by their own rules and not really supporting where everyone's going.
I remember seeing a tweet that Sam said MCP's coming to OpenAI. So I don't know if they do it yet. That's or crazy. Not. But anyways, and then that goes to my next question when you said like fallbacks. How should we build fallbacks in? Like, should it be Grok? Should we move things? Because that is one of the biggest problems right now is the rate limit for Anthropic.
You're seeing that in the Telegram chat, right?
Yeah. And I think right now it's 25% of chats are hitting an error, and 50% of the errors are rate limit. The other 50% are the objects.
We need to refine our reporting.
We still have to dive. Yeah, but so that's like enough to say, okay, there's a rate limit issue, and then the question goes, is changing the model to the solution, or is like a deeper level of like, well, why are we hitting rate limits? What is it trying to do in its 30,000 token limit that maybe we can achieve in 10,000 tokens? But anyways, I say all of that to think through, like when you said fallbacks, I immediately thought like there is the implementation in the Vercel AI SDK of model select. So maybe instead of a fallback, we just implement model select so that we have all of the variables, right? Like, so it's not just Grok. It's okay. And if Grok fails, we have DeepSeek. And if DeepSeek, like, you can choose your model accordingly. So yeah, that was my initial thought. It's just like, should we just pull in model select and then fall back, do the fallback solution after we have the ability to just swap models?
I've got to get jumping over to my next meeting. I have forgot to bring this up earlier. This weekend, I am going to be going to the beaches here in Chile. So Friday, I will not be here. Do we want to expand our meeting tomorrow to be our hour-long meeting and treat that as Friday?
Yeah. Yeah, let's do that.
I actually think you're the organizer, so I don't think I can change the length. But just if you same time, change it to an hour. I've replied no to tomorrow's. The question I want to ask to end with is what caused the uptick last night? Did you send out a mass blast or something, or why did we have an uptick last night in new conversations?
I did not send a mass blast. I had just throughout the day been messaging and interacting with people. So yeah, I just think people were just using it and trying it. And it seems like it's almost like on and off. So like I reached out to Carolyn on Friday. Or wait, what was today? What was yesterday? Tuesday? I reached out to Carolyn on Monday, and then she tried it on Tuesday. And so like it seems like the people that I reach out to, like they wait until like either the next day or the following day to actually use stuff. So I'm thinking like today might be a slower day unless people have an uptick. But since I'm reaching out today to an end of day yesterday and today, then like come tomorrow and the next day we're going to start the uptick again. So yeah, and I'm also a great case study. Like Carolyn had a great usage, so she's right now our like ideal customer. She got what she wanted. How often does she use the product now? Like when does she come back and send another message? Because that's going to be a telltale sign of like even at aha moment, this user is using it in these at this rate. So, but man, I just love the data we're getting. It's like such a good sign, just being able to track this stuff. All right, I know you had another call, so I will extend our meeting tomorrow, and then we'll talk tomorrow.
Thank you all for tuning in. Give us a like, leave us a comment down below, click